Italian Football Podcast.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Italian Football Podcast. I'm Carlo Gargnesi, joined as always by Nima Tavali. We're happy today because Italy have qualified for Euro 2024. It was the most nerve-wracking, stressful night in Leverkusen as Italy just about saw out a 0-0 draw against Ukraine, which means the Azzurri finished second in Group C and qualify for next summer's Euros. But it was almost taken away from us right at the end with a controversial penalty incident with Mudryk and Brian Cristante. And we'll talk about whether it was a penalty. We'll analyse the game as a whole. And then we will look ahead to the Euros. The draw is next week, of course. And we'll look at Italy's squad. What will Italy's squad be? And how well can Italy do in Euros? Can we retain our title? So plenty to talk about. Let's get into it. Okay, so to start with, Italy draw 0-0 with Ukraine in Leverkusen. Italy went into the game just needing a draw to qualify for the Euros, but it was very, very nerve-wracking. We had to see it off in the end. The final 20 minutes, Ukraine were coming on to us, and then they could have got a penalty deep into injury time, which we'll talk about in a little bit about whether it was a penalty. But first of all, I just want to talk emotionally. I mean,
I don't know. Were you happy? I was just relieved.
That's the one word to describe my feelings.
I was
relieved.
Just relieved. I wasn't even happy. I didn't even celebrate or do any. I was just like that's the only thing I did, because this has been. I mean, you and me, we've watched and covered Italy for 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, however 35 years we watched them. This has been the most exhausting qualifiers I can remember, and it feels like one long qualifier from the World Cup till now, which tells you everything you need to know, because there really wasn't an end where the World Cup qualifier ended and this began, at least not mentally. And of course, with North Macedonia again, and Mancini quitting just a couple of months ago out of the blue, and Spalletti coming in, and it has not been easy. It has not been easy, and so I was just utterly relieved.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really. I mean, you've just described the feelings of the entire qualification campaign.
Yeah,
but I mean, I was relieved more so for just the game last night. I mean, watching those last 20 minutes. I mean, it was so stressful, so stressful. I mean, I feel like I aged 10 years in the last 20 minutes. I feel I now look my age. Everyone says I look younger than I am. I now look my age. I mean,
did you lose your hair and fully like complete your metamorphosis to what's his name? What's that guy's name who everyone says you look like? Who's like, what's his name?
Oh, don't start.
Andrew Tate. Yeah. Have you completed your metamorphosis?
I'm full Andrew Tate now. I'm full Andrew Tate. Yeah, I mean, oh God, it was. I mean, I skipped a heartbeat. I think everybody skipped a heartbeat. There's a famous saying that in Italy that during the 1982 World Cup, when Italy beat Brazil 3-2, and there was a famous moment right at the end of the game when Italy are holding on to the 3-2 lead, where a cross comes in from a free kick and Oscar does a header and Dino Zoff makes his fantastic save right on the line, and the ball just moves. As he makes the save and puts the ball on the line, he just moves his hand a little bit and the ball moves onto the line slightly, part of the ball slightly over the line, but not over the line, slightly on the line. And there's a saying, I can't remember what the exact saying is, but kind of like that was the moment they say that everybody in Italy skipped a heartbeat when Zoff made that save, because they thought it'd gone in. It looked, and that's how I felt when Mudryk went down in the penalty area. I mean, we'll come on to the penalty discussing, like, was it a penalty in a minute? But I mean, oh God, yeah, just overall, just relief, because like, we've not qualified for two tournaments in a row, two World Cups in a row. Sorry,
yeah.
And if you go since Euro 2016, I was speaking to our good friend of the show, Adrian Del Monte, the other day, and he was saying to me, he was at the game last night, and he was saying to me, if we don't qualify for this tournament, that means by the time the 2026 World Cup will have come along, that means Italy would have been to one tournament in 10 years. I mean, that's just...
No, but it's for me, like what we were talking last week, I think it was on Thursday, when I said, look, this was all psychology. Qualitatively, there is no discussion who is better out of Italy and Ukraine. And anyone who saw that game will understand that, right? So for me, it was all about the quality. Like, it was all about the mental aspect of the game, pretty much. That's what it was for me, is the fact that can Italy, when they started missing these chances, they created this chance, they couldn't bury it. I was just like, oh my God, this is going to cut. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was just playing it in my head. Added minutes, injury time, stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely. Those are always the thoughts that creep into your mind when you're holding on to the game, for sure. But
we created more than enough chances to win. That's what really annoyed me.
We'll come on to that. First of all, just so everybody knows, we finished second in group. Which group were we in? Group C? Group B?
I forgot.
Does it matter?
Honest to God.
Does it matter? Group C. Group C.
Whatever you want to call it.
Group C. So we finished runners up in Group C. England win the group with 19 points, and Italy
20 points. Italy
20 points. 20 points. Yeah, sorry. I forgot they equalised against us today. It doesn't matter anyway. England 20 points. Italy second with 14 points. The same number of points as Ukraine, but Italy finish above Ukraine because of the head-to-head record, having won the home game against Ukraine. Macedonia come fourth with 8 points, and Malta's no points. So Italy qualifies best runners-up as runners-up, and Ukraine go to the playoffs. The draw will be on December the 2nd, and the playoffs will be in March, and the finals, of course, will be in Germany next summer in June and July. Right, so first things first, we have to talk about the penalty incident, because this is what everybody's talking about. Then we'll talk about the game as a whole. So it's 3 minutes into injury time. Mudryk has the ball in the Italy penalty area. He
doesn't have the ball. That's the thing, though. That this is. I think this is one of the most interesting situations that I'm sure they will use when teaching refereeing courses, because it raises so many different things at once. I really think it's a very interesting situation as a whole, if you look at it, because the ball is squared into the towards the center of the penalty area, right? Cristante is closest to where the ball is headed, but Mudryk is traveling into that space, right? And he's got his eye fixated on the ball. He takes the ball first. Cristante doesn't touch the ball. He takes out Mudryk, but Mudryk proceeds to make the worst dive I have seen since Jürgen Klinsmann in the 1990 World Cup final. It was one of the most exaggerated embellishments and dives I've seen ever in football. It was atrocious. It's the way he flies. He should be embarrassed. Like that. That's all I'm going to say about the dive, because it is shocking. But there is contact. So the situation then becomes, okay, because remember, it is completely up to the discretion of the referee to decide whether or not a contact warrants infringement or not. And the referee, I think, I haven't seen anything, but I think his line of reasoning was this. The way that Mudryk flew with both feet into the air, like an airplane, I think he just said, there is no chance I can give a penalty for that dive. Meaning there was contact, but the contact didn't warrant enough of a contact for him to give that penalty, because in his communication with the VAR, if he says anything else other than that, it falls under clear and obvious error. If he says, no, Cristante took the ball first, well, it's conclusive from the images that Cristante did not take the ball first. If he says that there was no contact, it's conclusive from the images that there was contact. So clearly the referee was there, saw exactly what happened, communicated this to VAR, which prevents the VAR from intervening as well, because it doesn't fall under clear and obvious error. So it becomes a judgment call on the pitch. And that's where the discussion should be. Was it a right or was it a correct or an incorrect call? I think look, if this was 1991, there is no chance you give a penalty for that. None. Because they just didn't back then. Today, that is a stonewall penalty. I mean, if you look at the level that we see in Serie A, La Liga, Champions League, World Cup, that's a stonewall penalty.
Yeah, well, look, we're talking about stonewall. When I saw the replay from in front towards the goal, it looks a stonewall penalty from the first angle. They showed 3 replays on the TV that I was watching. The first replay, it looks a stonewall. It's he shifts the ball to the right, Mudryk, and then Cristante moves into his space, and it looks a stonewall. It looks like he takes him out with his knee or the bottom of his knee, and he takes him out. It looks stonewall. And when that happened during the game, I stood up and put my hands in my face.
Me too. I was like, thanks, Cristante.
Because at that point, and also the friends I was watching it with did the same thing.
Oh, where did you end up watching it, by the way? Because that's a cliffhanger from last episode.
I actually returned to my friend Arnie's house and watched it there, where Italy lost to England. So I took a bit of a gamble, but I've broken the jinx. I mean, you say that jinxes don't exist.
Because they don't, Carlo.
Because I just have to share with everyone that before we did the preview on Thursday,
there is zero correlation.
We argued for about 5 minutes, me and Nima. And Nima was getting really angry because he gets really angry when I said that.
Because I
begged Nima before we started the pod. Please do not say that Italy are going to qualify for the Euros because you're a jinx and we're going to end up not qualifying. And Nima got so angry.
Of course they got excited because they don't rational.
Witches don't exist. Magicians don't exist.
Of course they don't. They do not exist. They have nothing to do with that. Me placating your superstitions is more me.
Well, let's just say Nima didn't say it, and we qualified. So
I did say it to everyone else, but okay. You. So
that's fine. As long as I don't hear it, that's good enough for me. No, but I did. Yeah, no, I watched it there, and. The friends I was with, actually one of my friends, Andrea, give a shout out to him. He walked out of the room.
Well, of course he did.
He walked out of the room. Reaction. But that was my initial reaction. Was when I saw the first replay right in front, I put my hands on my head and I just thought that's a definite penalty. It looked stonewall. Then after that, they showed 2 more replays. They showed one from the side. And then they showed one from the back of the goal.
Yeah, behind one, the one that
they look inconclusive.
No, they look. The one from behind. The one from behind shows that there's contact without a doubt. Like you have to.
I don't know which one you saw. The 2 replays I saw, one from the side and one from behind. You might have seen a different replay. They are inconclusive. They don't show contact. The one from the front, the one I've seen, the one that I've seen. I don't know which one you've seen. The angle that I've seen, they showed I watched it on Rai.
I was watching Rai.
I was watching it on Rai. But anyway,
and Rai said
the first. I think it was Adani
who was Adani's. I think it was Adani's comment. He was just. I think it was Adani who was like that's a penalty. Like the silence in his voice was just like.
No, the silence said it all. The silence. I mean, the first. Listen, whatever you want to say about the other 2 replays, the first one looks like a stone wall. It looks an absolute stone. What I would say though is, I agree. I think the way that how dramatic he was with the fall. He also overrun it a little bit. Like the ball went straight through to Donnarumma. I'm not saying that should play a role, but sometimes in the psyche of the referee, if you overrun it and you don't have control of the ball, that does play a role in the referee's decision making. But I'd also say this, that Mudryk was diving all game. All game he was diving.
It was awful.
All game he was diving. There was one horrible one where he should have been booked in the first half when it was against Di Lorenzo. And Di Lorenzo just looked at him like, what the...
This was shocking. Like, if you're gonna dive, can you please do it good? Like, can you do it properly? What was that? Yeah. I mean, he looked like when we were 9 years old, pretending to be professional wrestlers in the schoolyard, like fake hurting each. Like it was amateurish. His diving, like it was genuinely amateurish.
Yeah. So what I would say is, I think that the referee and the VAR will look at that, and Mudryk has a reputation for someone that throws himself to the ground, and that worked against him. That worked against him in the penalty
This is exactly what I was going to say. The only reason I think he did not get that is because, again, as I repeat in the beginning, it's because the referee looked at that reaction. He knows there's contact, but the way that he dives, and it is a dive, there is contact, no doubt, and it is a dive. Both of those things, I think, are conclusively beyond a reasonable doubt true. And he goes, that can't be a penalty. I'm not going to give a penalty for that because that's too much of a simulation. And I think that's what hurt him in the end, to be honest. It's going to be really interesting to see how other referees come out, analyze this. And I'm really keen to see what Marelli says on this, because this is one of those situations where I think he's probably the best in the world in terms of explaining the different parameters that come into play. And also, whether you agree with him or not, the way that he explains the laws of the game is truly unmatched and unrivaled. But I look,
Spalletti did say
Italy got away with one. It's okay. Yeah. It's okay to say Italy got away with one, and that's fine, and we can acknowledge that. We don't need to.
Well, put it this way: it's about time we had a referee.
I knew you were going to say that.
well, it's true. I mean, the last time Italy had a referee, the Italy national team had a ref call go their way, it was probably 1934 World Cup when Mussolini went into the referee's room before the game. That's the last time we've had a call.
So exaggerated. I love how exaggerated.
We go back 90 years. We have to go back to 90 years. Mussolini calling the referee into his room before the game.
Well, now that you said that, I promised one of our patrons, Art Morelli, that I was going to read this to you. And after you said that, I'm going to read his message to you, or his tweet to you, without an ounce of bad, like feeling bad about it. He said, by the way, Nima, the next time Carlo Garganese wants to do another 120-minute special expose episode of the Italian Football Podcast on anti-Italian bias in UEFA FIFA refereeing, kindly remind him of today.
That's fine. I mean, a broken clock is right. Is
1934
right.
Mussolini. Come on, you've got to be joking. Stop. No, look. There is no doubt that Italy got away with one. And to be honest, I just reminded of when I looked at Spalletti's face, I don't know why, but I was immediately taken back to that Mourinho quote of, I'd rather be a bad and lucky coach and win than a good, unlucky coach and lose. Spalletti won there. And I think, given what Spalletti has gone through in his career and all the bad luck he's had, he deserved one thing to go his way. And he deserved that to go his way, because now he gets some peace of mind, because he was literally thrown into the deep end. He had no time to prepare. If we're perfectly honest, lots of injuries, this betting scandal that exploded. I mean, let's be honest, he's not had the odds in his favor. It's not been easy for him.
No, 3 days rest, whereas Ukraine could prepare for it properly.
Yeah. I think he deserved that. I think he deserved it.
Bit of luck, yeah.
Yeah, he deserved this to go his way, just based on his entire career. And so I think, look, Italy got away with one, but it's fine. It's fine.
Well, let's talk about the game itself, and then we'll look at the bigger picture. Looking forward to the Euros itself. So the game itself, the way that I would summarise it is, I thought that for most of the game, if you take out maybe the first 10 minutes, in which I think Ukraine came on strongly, were pressing well, and the last 20 minutes where Italy brought on Cristante and basically just played to hold out for the 0-0. If you take away those, I thought Italy were in total control of the game in terms of the ball, in terms of possession, in terms of territory. They didn't concede, although Donnarumma did make a couple of big saves from Sudakov, and then that Mudryk, Luka Modric. Mudryk, he's definitely not Luka Modric. Mudryk chance at the far post when it was a terrible defensive error from Di Lorenzo when he let the ball bounce from from a throw-in. Apart from that, really, Ukraine didn't create anything. So I thought we controlled the game well. I thought the positives of the game were, and this gives me hope going forward with Spalletti, is I thought our pressing and winning the ball in the Ukraine half was brilliant for long spells of this game. With the exception of, like I said, the first 10 and the last 20, I thought we were winning the ball high up. They couldn't get out Ukraine. They were struggling just to put 2 or 3 passes together because our pressing was so good. It was like Napoli. It was like the Napoli of Spalletti, in which they smother you and don't let you out. And that's brilliant. That is something that is going to be a big weapon for us going forward. So that is something that I think Spalletti's already put his print on the team, which was great. That was great. I thought we kept the ball pretty well. We're becoming a possession team under Spalletti, which is good.
Agreed.
The other positives I thought was...
I just want to, on that point, to me, that's Jorginho. People talk shit about him for missing a penalty, which is, he should never be allowed to take a penalty in his life ever again. But his ability to retain possession, the calm that he brings to the team in terms of his passing, in terms of... It's just... I thought he was key in these 2 games. The way that he allows the team to build from the back, to calm things down, to change tempo, was key.
And to keep the ball and dominate the ball. Yeah. I mean, both of us.
Him and Barella together. I'm so annoyed that Locatelli was injured, because I really think that Locatelli, Barella, Jorginho, that in this game, particularly with Ukraine playing the way they did, I think Italy would have won that game.
I think that Jorginho, on the Jorginho point, I think that I did actually say before these 2 games that Jorginho has been playing much better for Arsenal recently. I was not ready to write him off, but I was thinking he's way past his best.
I thought
earlier on the season, he's shown that he does still have something to give. If he's still playing he's going to be a bit older by the Euros, but if he's still playing like this at the Euros, I think he does have something to give. Whether or not you can still trust him against a France, against the England, who are so ferocious, breaking on the transition, where he's going to be, there was a moment when Mudryk went past him at pace, for example, in the second half. Didn't do anything with it, of course, because it's Mudryk. But against the really better athletic teams, there is still there will be a question mark there with Jorginho still. But he has shown that he's got something to give. Still, he was very good in these 2 games. The other positives, I thought the defence. We have to give a shout out to not only Acerbi but Buongiorno in his first. And Buongiorno. I mean, after getting a yellow card in the first 10 minutes, I thought he grew into the game really well. I thought those 2 were fantastic.
I liked what I saw from Buongiorno in terms of that, baptism by fire. And I think he passed. I don't think he passed with flying colours. I think he passed. There were instances in the second half where he scared the shit out of me, for a lack of better expression. But I do like, we're talking about a fairly inexperienced young lad. This was by far the biggest challenge he's ever been faced.
I thought he did well, and I think
he did well. No, that's what
I tell you. One thing that was also good about him is he's used to playing the Spalletti system. I know he plays in the back 3 with Juric, but in the sense that Juric likes Ivan Juric, the coach of Torino, likes playing with a very high line and pressing and being aggressive, and that's what they were doing. So he knows that. I'm not sure how quick he is. I need to see a bit more of him, because I'm not sure what he's like, what his pace is like. Because if you play with a high line, that is obviously, again, against better teams, going to be an issue. But listen, we defended well. Our defensive record's been terrible in the last year or so. I mean, just look how many goals we've conceded over the last year. I think the only clean sheets we'd had before that last night was against Malta, home and away. So, I think defensively we did well. We restricted Ukraine.
Yeah, we did well. I think
we did well. We restricted Ukraine to very little chances. But, and this is where the negatives come in, our attack, we just don't do enough. I mean,
I think Italy, their attack was better than their defense. I mean, Italy created more than enough chances to score. The problem is the finishing touch wasn't.
How many clear chances did they create? The only clear chances they had were Fratesi was 1-on-1. That's a clear chance. The Chiesa one, if the ball hadn't crossed the line. I'm not sure if the ball crossed the line. I think it might have gone out of play.
But
if it didn't, then that's the other big. They're the only other big chances.
I think Scamacca, Chiesa, and Fratesi were really.
Scamacca was offside.
I know, but I'm just saying, like in terms of chance creation, and
Yeah, I know, but you can't really count them. If they're offside. I mean, Italy had 2 shots on goal, and I think for the amount of times, I mean, we were winning it off them time and time again in their own half through that great press, and I said, yet we didn't really create much with it after. So, I mean, that is the lack of quality in attack was again evident. The amount of possession and ball we had in the opposite, and on transitions, it wasn't sterile possession in the opposition. This was breaking, winning the ball off them, and then breaking into space, and we couldn't create chances. And I think that is, Zaniolo I was very disappointed with. He didn't do anything, didn't do enough. And Scamacca, when he came in, was abysmal. Was just absolutely abysmal. He lost everything until the last few minutes when he finally.
I don't think he lost everything, but he didn't have a good
until the last few minutes when he started to hold. He was abysmal. He was horrific.
He had a bad game. I think there was a couple of I have to be a little bit critical of Spalletti's lineup. I think Zaniolo was a ridiculous decision. And how he got 70 minutes. I understand the thought process behind it. It was really interesting to see how, okay, you got Dimarco and Chiesa on the left, so you overload that, you invert Dimarco, and in order to balance that up, you basically shut down the right wing with Lorenzo and Zaniolo essentially kind of also inverting into a back 3 with possession and Zaniolo kind of shutting down the right-hand side. But I get the idea behind that. I just think that the way that Zaniolo played throughout and how he got 70 minutes is he's just not good enough at this level right now. At this moment in time, he's just not good enough. And Di Lorenzo also didn't have a very good game either. But I mean,
we don't have enough goals.
Buongiorno was a gamble. It paid off. Yeah. Fratesi for Bonaventura, I think Fratesi really struggled. Again, Fratesi shows his technical limitations, and that's fine because we know the kind of player he is. He's a player that is, I mean, he's a poor man's Nocerino. I wouldn't even say he's a poor man's Barella. He's a poor man's Nocerino.
God, are we going that low?
No, we are. I mean,
he is.
No, but he is. He is a poor man's Nocerino. He's not
a poor man's Nocerino.
He's a poor man's Nocerino, and that's fine because he has particular traits that are, his timing of the runs, his, when he gets himself into those spaces, but his passing and technical ability is very mediocre.
His passing's not good enough. He gives the ball away way too much,
and that's why I think Bonaventura should have started.
I think I can understand why he went for Fratesi. He wanted the legs, and I but that's because of Barella and Jorginho.
Yeah, but that's because of Barella and Jorginho, who were outstanding. I mean, this is why I say it's such a shame that Locatelli was injured, because I think Locatelli's skill set with these two in playing like they did yesterday, I don't even think Ukraine sees the ball at all. I mean, that's how good I think Jorginho and Barella together were. Complete domination in midfield. But
our most obvious limitations in this game was the attack. For me, there's no doubt about it.
I liked Raspadori. I think Chiesa, Raspadori, and Scamacca is what I wanted to see. I think taking off Raspadori and his movement for Scamacca was a mistake. I would have liked to keep Raspadori, Chiesa, and Scamacca, but then again, you're not chasing the game. Ukraine are chasing the game, so I kind of understand Spalletti. So, but I mean, these are
Raspadori links the midfield and the attack very well together. Yeah. But even with Raspadori, we lack goals in the attack. I mean, let's be honest. Chiesa was brilliant. He was absolutely fantastic. He was everywhere. He was even chasing back. He created all the chances. Creation came through Chiesa. That amazing pass for the Fratesi chance. He was chasing back. That was the Allegri side. That was Allegri bringing the Chiesa, and he was chasing back. I mean, he was doing everything.
I thought he was good. But this notion that he was like fantastic, no, he wasn't, because he's approaching the level that we know he can play at. And I think that when Federico Chiesa is at his best, there is no discussion that he is this undeniable star and focal point of this team. No discussion.
Even below his best.
He wasn't. I mean, there were instances there. I think it was in 77th, 78th.
Yeah, he gave the ball away at the end. He got
three times in one movement.
Yeah. That's fair. He did give the ball away, but he was getting tired there. But he does try to do too much sometimes. He is a bit greedy. But you take Chiesa out of this attack and there's nothing. There's nothing in this. It's the most mediocre attack you can possibly get.
No, I think that's a bit harsh, but it lacks bite. And the thing that he has is what I always say about him. He's like
it lacks difference-making quality.
He's like a heat-guided missile, isn't he? Like when he decides to go past towards goal, you're just going to have to drag him down in order to stop him.
We have to pray he's fit. I think the attack is not doing enough. Zaniolo, like I said before this interview, the strikers, the attackers need to step up.
Yeah.
They need to make that leap, and none of them have. They did well against Macedonia, but it's Macedonia. In this game, they didn't make the step up. None of them. Only Chiesa showed the sparks that he's at. He's at the level to make a mark.
No, he's on his way. What I thought was so encouraging was to see glimpses of the Chiesa from before the injury.
Yeah.
And that made me very happy for Italy, because again, he is by far, him and Barella, they play at a level like that no one in this team is close to.
Barella was very good in these two games as well.
It's outstanding. He was outstanding.
It was about time we had him back, the real Barella back as well.
And together with Jorginho as well, the way they retained the possession was just, these two games was just, they did whatever they wanted. It's such a shame about Tonali.
We need it's a big shame. But I just want to stress that we need more from the attack, and we need more goals. We don't have enough goals in the attack at all. I mean, who's our top scorer in the squad? I think it's Berardi with 8 goals. I mean, that says it all. But even at club level, I mean, Moise Kean came on. He hasn't scored a goal this season. Zaniolo, as good as he's been, and he's actually been pretty good for Aston Villa. He hasn't scored a goal for Aston Villa this season. And he's playing in a very attacking Aston Villa team who score a lot of goals. Yeah, he's done his groin as well. And then the other attackers, a lot. I mean, El Shaarawy's in the squad, for goodness sake. I mean, this is what we're talking about. So, we'll come on to how well we can do. But I mean, from a positive point of view, we're back. Yeah. We can relax.
Yeah.
We can start to build. Yeah. Spalletti has time now to work his magic, and
yes, you don't have a proper competitive game for at least 6 months or something like that, and you can 6 months, and you can 5-6 months, and you can focus on building. Well, no, 5, isn't it?
4 months.
4.5. It's mid-November. December, January, February, March. That's 4 months, 4.5 months. We're in 20th of November.
Well, it's the 21st of November. I mean, January, February, March is actually 3 months. We both got our maths right.
4. December, January, February, March.
January. Oh, no, 4 months. Yeah, good. Yeah.
4.5 months.
It's not 4.5 months. It's 4 months. It's the bloody 20th of March.
Yeah, 4 months and a third. Is that all right?
No, 4 months.
It's a third. It's 30 days in a month, mate. It's 21st today when we're recording. This is fantastic content to listen to, by the way. You and me arguing over time. But listen, he's got this time to calmly build now. He can do, like you said, build his magic, work his magic, try to build a structure in place. And try to put something and try to integrate new players. I mean, someone like Colpani is someone I definitely want. If he continues playing like this, I think he should be a part of this team.
Just whether or not we've got enough games, but yeah, absolutely. Or at least we can relax. We can and we can enjoy the build up as well as fans. We can enjoy the build up to something. We can enjoy the draw next Saturday. The draw.
But I'm just saying that with Italy in pot 4, because they didn't beat Ukraine, because otherwise they would have been in pot 3.
It's not certain yet, but we'll come on to that.
Well, it's a 97% chance that they'll end up in pot 4. So
fair
you'll have to forgive me.
Let's move on to that. First of all, though, I want to discuss the squad. I want to discuss who is going to go to Euro 2024 for Italy. It's still obviously a long time to go, and a lot can change. But I've worked this out, and I've split this into two sections. First of all, I'm going to read out the players who I think are already on the plane, who are guaranteed to go, and then we'll discuss those that are fighting for a spot and who the options are, and then who me and both Nima and myself would actually select ourselves. So the guarantees are, let me just first of all specify that it's now a 23-man squad. It's not 26 anymore. At Euros and the World Cup, it was 26-man squads. They increased the squad because of COVID. Now it's back down to the usual 23. So the guarantees are Donnarumma in goal is a guarantee. In defence, Di Lorenzo and Dimarco are both guarantees. And then at centre-back, I have Acerbi and Bastoni as guarantees. In midfield, I think Barella obviously is a guarantee, and I would add Locatelli to that as well. I think he's a guarantee as well. Tonali would have been a guarantee, but obviously he's suspended and he misses the finals. As for the attack, I only right now have one guarantee, and that's Chiesa if he's fit. Apart from that, I don't think there's any other guarantees right now. But I mean, you can argue against that. We'll come down to to the pool of players that we have. So let's start off with the goalkeepers. Goalkeepers, 3 goalkeepers will be chosen, as always. As I said, Donnarumma is a guarantee. The other options are Vicario, Provedel, and Meret. The way I see this, Nima, is as it stands, Vicario is a certainty if it's picked right now because he's been maybe the best goalkeeper in the Premier League this season. But it's going to be 2 from those 3 for the other 2 spots. Would you say there's no one else really, is there, that's in the
I'd say it's Vicario and Provedel as things stand today. But I mean, we're 8 months away, so it's impossible. But I think as things stand today, Vicario and Provedel for me. I mean, for me, those 3 are the best. It's not even close. Like Meret, God bless, no, not compared to Provedel and Vicario because of the kinds of goalkeepers they are. I mean, Donnarumma's the number 1.
The third goalkeeper, I think, has barely ever played in a tournament ever in any nation in the history of football. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter. I'd agree. I think right now it's Vicario and Provedel. Right now. But then again, I guess Meret was Spalletti's goalkeeper at Napoli. That might, he might have more of a chance because of that. But those are the goalkeepers. That's an easy one. Right. At right back, I should say, first of all, that Italy will take either 8 or 9 defenders. That's how it will be. It'll be 8 or 9 defenders. So you would usually divide that between 2 right backs, 2 left backs, and 4 centre backs. And then if you pick a 9th, you'd probably pick someone that's more of a utility player that can maybe play as a centre back and as a full back, or both full back positions. Or so that's all up in the air. But if we go on the premise that there's going to be 2 right backs, I think obviously Di Lorenzo is a guarantee. Right now, we're looking at Darmian as the backup, aren't we? Right now.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. I think you're spot on.
But the other options are Calabria, Lazzari, Florenzi, Bellanova as a very outside option. Those are the other natural right backs that we're looking at. But assuming Darmian keeps up his form, I mean, he's going to be 34, so he could lose his form. We're looking at Darmian, aren't we? I think we agreed on that for the other right back spot.
The good thing with Darmian is that he can also play as a centre back. I mean, he has in a back 3. And I think he because of the experience and the utility man that he's become, I mean, he can play to the left, he can play as a left wing back, left centre back, right wing back. I mean, he gives you so many options. But I think Darmian is almost a certainty if he's injury free and continues to perform at a good level.
Yeah,
the options he provides tactically.
Yeah, no, he's been really good, and he was really great against Macedonia as well.
But it's like in the short tournament, you want to have options, don't you? I mean, it's a very short tournament. It's only 6-7 games. Utility players are very, very welcome because they give you
absolutely. And if we're desperate and we need another left back, he can play there as well.
I mean, you saw yesterday he came on for Politano and plays a winger. I mean, he can play everywhere, and that's a really important quality in a short tournament.
Yeah, and he's experienced. And there's the Inter block at the back, and I think it's always useful to have, like we've often had with the Juventus defensive blocks in the past. It's very, very important. Okay, left back. Now this is interesting. This is probably our best area in terms of depth that we have anywhere in the squad is at left back. So Dimarco is a guarantee. I think that's for certain. Injury, as long as there's no injuries or anything. Then let me list out the left backs we've got: Udogie, Cambiasso, Spinazzola, Biraghi, Emerson, Parisi, Ruggeri as well is coming on strong at Atalanta. So we've got a lot of left back options. Right now, I think it's Dimarco and Udogie as the first 2 left backs right now, but so much can change between now and June, can't it?
Yeah, look, if for me, I will be pissed off if Udogie and Cambiasso aren't called up and included.
You want both?
I want Udogie, Dimarco, Cambiasso, Spinazzola, Darmian, and Di Lorenzo. Again, Darmian can play in many positions. So, and Cambiasso and Spinazzola can play on the right. Di Lorenzo is a right back. Dimarco and Udogie are left backs. Like, again, I'm looking for options. And since there aren't that any definite centre backs except for Acerbi and Bastoni, as things stand today, for me, you need to bring the best players. Spinazzola, Cambiasso can play on the right, they can play on the left. Udogie and Dimarco, you know what they can do on the left. So you have to have them. Di Lorenzo is a leader in this. This is Spalletti's Italy. So Di Lorenzo has to be that. And then Darmian for everything we said. So for me, those two, they all have to be called up, these players.
Well, the problem is that we won't have the numbers to pick all of those. You can't pick 6 fullbacks because you pick 6 fullbacks, then even if you pick 3 centre-backs, which you can't go with 3 centre-backs, you're going to have 9 already. So you'd have to go with 4 centre-backs. So you can't pick all of them. At the very maximum, you could pick an extra fullback. So you could go Udogie and Cambiasso. Maybe pick another one, which he might do. He might end up doing, because he might see Udogie as someone that can even play as a centre midfielder. But absolutely, you can't have 4 fullbacks. It would be too many. And the reason for that is, we have to decide who's going to be at centre-back. And first of all, I would take Udogie. Let me just tell you that 100%. But a centre-back, the guarantees are Acerbi and Bastoni, for sure.
If I have to sacrifice a player if out of Cambiasso, Udogie,
Cambiasso or Spinazzola, yeah.
Yeah, it's Spinazzola.
Spinazzola, yeah.
I mean, with all due respect.
But we have to see how they play the rest of the season. Spinazzola might come strong. Cambiasso might lose his way. He's young. He might get a leg read. You don't know. So let's go to centre backs. So centre backs, Bastoni and Acerbi guarantees. Then we need another 2 minimum. Another 2 centre backs, maybe 3. Most international managers for tournaments pick 5 centre backs. Most do, but let's be honest, our options are not good at all. Let's be honest. So the other options are
Darmian as a backup right centre back.
Well, that's the thing. I would. I mean, I know he's never played in a back 4, but I would do almost like you said. I'd rather him be our 5th centre back.
This is what I mean. Like
in a desperation situation, you go with him. Yeah, I agree,
because he can do that. I mean, he is such an intelligent player, and he knows his limitations. He knows what he can do. He knows what he can't do, and he adapts. He just goes out there and does.
I'm with you. I would go for 4 centre backs. And then have Darmian, pick an extra fullback, and then have Darmian as somebody who can come in. I agree with you. Because there's no point picking a 5th centre back like Toloi or Casale or Baschirotto or someone. What's the point? You can't trust them in a quarter final or semi final in the Euros. You're going to lose.
What's the point of bringing them? They don't offer anything. They really don't. I mean, no, I'm with you.
Yeah. Well, let me read out the other options. So we've got Scalvini, Gatti, Mancini, Toloi, Casale, Buongiorno, Romagnoli, Baschirotto, Bonucci. I mean, we shouldn't even name him, but let's just name him anyway. So we need 2 or 3 players from these options. We both agree we should pick 2. So who are the 2? Who are the 2 you take from these?
Gatti and Buongiorno.
Yeah, I would probably right now. Again, things can change. Right now, I agree. I would agree with you.
Yeah. I don't want to see Toloi ever in an Italy.
I think both have done well in these 2 games. Again, not elite opposition, but Spalletti said he wants to play elite opposition in the March friendlies. So that would be a good opportunity in those games to play these centre backs and see who can cut it and who can't.
No, I agree.
Mancini's too much of a liability. He
scares the shit out of me every time he steps out on the pitch.
Scalvini. He's young.
No,
I still haven't seen what the fuss is about with Scalvini.
He's too raw. He's too raw, and I don't think this is. Look, it's a short tournament. You don't bring players to learn. You have to be ready now. It's a tournament. It's a finals. You're
agreed. The Nations League is to learn. That's what use the Nations League to learn now. That's the only use of that tournament now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Competitive nonsense.
Let's go to midfielders now. So usually you would pick 5 or 6 centre midfielders. We play a 3-man central midfield, so 6 centre midfielders you need for a 3-man. And we have guarantees, as I said. Barella and Locatelli, I think, are guarantees.
Yeah.
So we need another 4. Now, the options we've got are Cristante, Jorginho, Verratti, Ricci. They're the registers. They're the register options. Mezzala options are Fratesi, Bonaventura, Colpani, Pessina, and you include Pellegrini in that. I don't know.
I wouldn't do that. I mean, given how he plays,
he's somebody that could be this again. He could be a 6th choice and somebody that can double up as an attacker. You know,
that's what I'm thinking.
That's a possibility. But anyway, the way that I think we need to break it down as registas first, because you're going to always pick two registas in the squad. So if you pick Locatelli, if we're calling him a regista, Locatelli, then you need one other one.
Jorginho.
So you would pick Jorginho. But you see, I think that Spalletti could consider Locatelli also to double up as a mezzala, in which case you could take Jorginho and Cristante and have. No. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but I'm just saying way that he looks at it, he could pick Jorginho and Cristante as his two registas, and then pick Locatelli as a mezzala who can also play as a regista. That's a possibility.
No, I think that's pretty much what's going to happen, and I'm annoyed because I know it's going to happen. If Cristante is not injured, he's going to go to the Euros, and it's going to be a waste of a space in that team, because I don't think Cristante is good enough, and I think he's shown time and time again he is a very limited player, and he's not good enough at this level. And he was lucky not to concede a penalty, because he's so reactive, he's so slow in his reactions. And in a game against a France or an England or a whatever in the Euros, and he does what he did on Mudryk, I'll bet you anything that's a penalty, and that's it.
No, he's not good enough. He's not good enough. He's not good enough. It's simple. As simple as that. He's not good enough. I don't even see him as somebody just to bring on to see the game out. Because look what happened yesterday. As soon as Cristante comes on, you lose control of the midfield. That's my big thing. I always want my midfield to control the game. I want them to dominate the game, dominate possession. He doesn't do that, and he doesn't even necessarily close the game up very well, as we saw with the Mudryk incident yesterday. He's just not. He's not a bad player. He's a good player, but he's not Italy. He's not an Italy level player.
He's not good enough. He shouldn't be in this team.
Even against Macedonia, we lost our way when he came on.
Immediately, those changes is when they scored twice. It's just Cristante shouldn't be anywhere near this team. No, so,
we'll always thank him for that flick on that he did in the Euro final from the corner. But that's it. Thanks for that, Brian. But
thanks, Brian. But
Brian, Brian.
Yeah. No.
You can't have a name Brian and be good. It's some people just have names where you just know there's
Brian.
No way. Brian.
Yeah, no, Brian. No.
Brian Laudrup was pretty good. Apart from that, I don't know how many other good Brians.
No. We don't need. No. Cristante just
no Brians for Italy.
No. Just Cristante. Just no. Look, when you ride your luck, and you know that you've been lucky, don't push it. Do you know what I mean? You got away with one with Cristante. Don't push it, because he'll make you pay. Mark my words.
So if we don't think it'll happen,
pay in the Euros. Cristante.
So who do you take then? Who do you take as your?
I take Jorginho. Jorginho for me.
Jorginho. As your six. Pick your six. Who's your six?
Jorginho, Locatelli, Barella, Fratesi, Bonaventura. That's what Locatelli, and then Colpani. I don't count Pellegrini as a midfielder. I count him as an attacker. So if Colpani continues to play like this, the thing with Colpani that I really, really like is the fact that he's a big guy as well. He's technical. He's got a brilliant left foot, and he's also he's powerful. The way that he drives the ball forward, good finisher, big guy. No, he gives something different to this Italy side that they don't have, and he can also play on one of the wing positions as well. So, no, for me, it's as things
I go Locatelli and Jorginho right now as the registas. Verratti, I would love to take him because he's my favourite Italy player the last 10 years, but he's playing in Qatar, and I just don't see it how you can possibly take him. It's just how can
it's funny that, isn't it? Because if you were to bet, if I were to bet on who out of those two would still have a future under Spalletti, I'd pick, in August.
You would have thought before that the Verratti would have lasted longer, but he's killed himself. If he was still playing in Europe, if he was still playing in Europe, he would have. I'm sure he would still be in the mix.
Whilst Jorginho's playing for Arsenal,
but listen, things can change. Jorginho was not looking good at Arsenal up until the last month or so, and now he's found form. So we have to see if he can continue that. Yeah. So I go Jorginho and Locatelli for the regista position, and then Barella and Fratesi, I think, absolutely. So that's 4. I think right now you go Bonaventura, but again, he's 33, going to turn 34 next year. He could age. Fiorentina have a lot of games. They play in Europe. we have to see how he does in the new year. And then there's Colpani, there's Pellegrini. I don't know who I would have as the sixth, to be honest. It's crazy that we've gone from so many midfield options.
It's annoying to me. This Tonali thing really annoys me because he would have been perfect in this midfield. Like it annoys.
Well, he's just a big player. It's a huge blow. It's a huge blow. It's going to be a huge blow come the tournament and against the big teams for sure.
Italy isn't going to win anyway. The Euros.
I don't think so. But yeah, we'll come to as for the sixth one. I don't know. I don't know. I want to see Colpani first before I say I want Colpani. I want to see how he does in March. So I might.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if we're doing it today, then yeah, Colpani. But it's impossible to say anything now. Yeah. It's 8 months away. So.
Okay, all right, I'll go with that then for now. Attackers then. So this is really, really difficult. I think Chiesa's the only guarantee. Yeah. I think he's the only guarantee right now if he's fit, and let's all pray that he is fit because he's so important. Then we're gonna take six forwards, right? So you need at least two players who can play on the right, two that can play on the left, two that can play in the middle. A lot of these players can play right and left, like Chiesa can play right and left. So that's going to allow us to be flexible here. Now, I'll read through all the options. So the right wing options, we've got Berardi, Politano, Orsolini, Zaniolo, who can play on the left as well, Gnonto, who can play on both sides, Zaccagni on the left, El Shaarawy on the left, Raspadori, who can play on the left or the middle, Keane, who can play right, left or middle, and then the centre, purely centre forward options, Scamacca, Retegui, and Immobile. And then, as I said, Pellegrini is a kind of midfielder stroke attacker that can potentially play both. So,
well, we have to pick. We have to pick Domenico Berardi because otherwise Patrick Kendrick will put out a fatwa on us. So we have to pick him out. So Chiesa, Berardi, Raspadori, Scamacca, Pellegrini, Moise Kean is what I would go with. But I think he's going to go with Politano because even though they have a love-hate relationship.
So you wouldn't pick Zaniolo then?
No, not on current form and not on... I just don't think he's good enough at this point in time, and I think he's shown it time and time again.
I'll tell you who I think will go. I think, as it stands right now, I think, on Chiesa obviously, I think Berardi for sure, Raspadori for sure, because of the Napoli connection. And I think he wants to take Scamacca because I think he wants to have a big centre-forward option. He wants to have an aerial threat centre-forward option. So I think he would pick Scamacca for that reason. Those four, I think, are different. And I think he would like to take Zaniolo as well. He would like to. So I think those five. Then I think the sixth spot is up for grabs. Yeah, who I would take... as my right wing options, I probably would take Berardi because I think he's probably the most consistent out of a bad bunch on the right. So I would have Berardi and Chiesa as two right wing options. Then as my two centre forwards, as much as I've been critical of Scamacca, we need a big centre forward. So it's got to be Scamacca or Retegui. You have to pick one or the other out of these two because you need a centre forward option. If you're chasing the game, you're 1-0 down, you need to put balls in the box. You have to have someone tall that you can go long to or someone that you can put crosses in. For that reason alone, we have to pick one of those two. Right now, you're probably going Scamacca. I'm not happy with him. He needs to improve. He needs to improve his movement. He
needs to improve a lot.
Yeah, he's failing. He's failing at the moment.
No, but the thing that with Scamacca that is the fact that he's one of the few players in Italy who can have a moment of magic out of nothing. He can create something that was just wow, and that kind of unpredictability, I think, is important in tournaments because he does have the talent. He has the ability. He can literally create something out of virtually nothing. And that kind of unpredictability is something you need in a tournament. But yes, Berardi, Chiesa, Raspadori, Berardi, Chiesa, Raspadori, Pellegrini, Scamacca, Moise Kean.
I think. Listen, I pick Chiesa and Chiesa and Berardi as my right wing options. My two centre forward options, I go Raspadori and Scamacca. As my left wing I I'd probably pick Moise Kean.
Yeah, definitely Moise Kean. I
pick Moise Kean because he can play in all the positions,
and also because Moise Kean has become a very tactically useful player, and not just under Allegri. I mean, I don't know what Allegri's doing with him, but he's got him thinking football for the first time in his career in a way that we haven't seen that, and he executes those attacking roles in defense and in attack really well. I mean, yesterday when he came on, didn't play too much, but immediately you can see he can hold up the ball in that number 9 position, and Italy are going to need that. And he's also a very quick player and dynamic player. So for me, I think Kean on current form has to be in the squad because he's a utility player, just like Darmian. He gives you options.
Yeah, and my other one would probably be I think I would go Zaniolo for now. Because I want another winger. I want another wideman. I want someone that can run at players.
I'd rather have Pellegrini then, because I think
Pellegrini can't do that either. He's the slowest person
Yes,
ever.
He is, but he's got something that Zaniolo doesn't have, and that is set pieces, and the foot is just...
Pellegrini, possibly because you can switch to a 4-2-3-1 and he can play in that 10 position. Yeah. But that's why I would maybe pick him as part of the midfield 6, maybe. That's why. But anyway, listen, those are the 6. But, I think a lot can change. Like, I still really like Gnonto. But he needs to join a new club. If he joins a new club, if he joins like Lazio, for example, he's been linked to, or if he joins Tottenham, who he's been linked to, like he joins a club like that and he does well.
I like contention again.
I like him. I do like him. So I wouldn't rule him out. Also, like I said, Pellegrini is an option as well. So those are the options. What I can say for sure is the players that I absolutely don't want to be in for sure is Immobile for sure. I don't want him to be. There's no way I want Immobile to go as a centre forward. And then from the outside forward positions, I don't want Orsolini.
No.
I don't want Zaccagni.
No.
I don't want El Shaarawy. These players are not at the level required. Those for sure.
Agreed.
Then it becomes out of the others that are available that I listed, it comes out of who's playing the best, who's in the best form, who plays well in the friendlies in March and before the tournament. So, it's all dependent. It's all dependent on that. But, the places are up for grabs because, like I said, these players need to step up and they're not stepping up to that level right now. None of these players. And we need them to. Right. Okay.
Nothing more to add.
Okay. That's a detailed little breakdown of the squad. And we'll do it again, I'm sure, back in I guess in May before the squad gets announced. We'll break it down again then.
I am very annoyed at this that they've reduced the squad sizes again. I think it's stupid. One of the few good things that came from COVID was that they, enlarged the squads because these guys are human beings. The amount of games they play a year, and now they're going to reduce the squad size. It's absurd.
I see both sides. I mean, a lot of managers don't like the 26-man squads. If you speak to most of the managers, they hate it because for training, it's impossible to train with 26 players.
It's not impossible. They're just not used to it.
You can't train 11 against 11 when there's 26 players. It makes training drills very, very difficult. That's the reason.
Removed 3
That's the reason why Deschamps and Southgate and who was someone of the other big teams didn't call up 26 for the World Cups because
but if you've got extra goalkeepers, nonsense. Humbug. It's just not used to it. Stop. I mean, it's just this notion of I can't. We're not. People like to whinge about it, and Mourinho used to whinge about it as well. I don't want to have more than 23 players. Like, stop.
I'm not that fussed because it doesn't have much depth in the squad. So I'd rather the other teams be weakened by not being able to call all their good players. So I'm fine with it. Personally.
My God,
I'm fine with it.
A godbot. It is unbelievable. That is like it's as if you're channeling Modji talking to me right now. It's like sitting there rubbing your hands, going weaken everyone, death by a million small cuts.
Oh no! Let's have 40-man squad so France can call up 40 world-class players. That's 40. Great.
No, 26 is 26-30. I mean, I'm thinking about this player's health. I mean, these guys are going to burn out. I'm fine with 23.
Basquiatto can stay at home and tend to his farm. I'm fine with it. Right. Let's just to finish off on Nima. Just to finish off. how well can Italy do you think, at the Euros? I mean, just before I get to that, let's start off by saying that it is, like you said before, and there's a 97% chance Italy going to be in pot 4. So we're going to get a more difficult draw. I would say that, though, that I wouldn't be that worried about that, because 2 teams qualify automatically from the knockout stage into the knockout stages, and then 4 of the 6 best third place teams qualify, because it's 24 teams in the tournament. It goes down to 16. So, really, and I've looked at the teams that are even going to be in some of the pot 2 teams, and I've looked at the pot 3 teams, and Italy should be okay. They'd have to be quite unlucky to get a group of death, put it that way.
With that, Mr. I don't believe Mr. Jinxes are real just jinxed Italy. I mean,
who, me?
Yes, you literally just jinxed Italy. You're the one who believes in jinxes, and then you go and say that. Why would you put that into the ether and then blame me about being a jinx?
It's all right. But my jinx is broken. It's you. You're the one.
No. There's nothing broken about your jinxes. Don't try. Don't try to project that on me. Neither that.
No. Well, listen. The draw is made on the 2nd December. That's next Saturday at 1800 CET. So it's not long away. We'll preview. We'll definitely react to that after the draw, the Monday after that draw. So we'll definitely talk about that more. But yeah. So it's not going to be an easy group stage. But we shouldn't be too worried about it. I don't think.
I think depending on the draw, realistically, quarterfinals. I mean, this is a France and England's tournament to lose, really. I think they are head and shoulders above everyone else. And I've said for many years now that I think England are bound to win a tournament. And I think this is going to be the one. I think England are going to win.
I would say, if I'm putting it in by, let's say, 5-star like rankings, I would say like England and France and England 5-star. Then I think I'd put Portugal as a 4-star. And then I think everybody else is 3-star. I
have Germany 3.5. If that makes sense.
I don't. Did you see? I mean, they're a state. I don't like them. I don't rate them at all. I think their defence is horrible. They've got no striker. They still play that fuckrog, whatever his name is.
Füllkrug. Fuckrog. Jesus Christ.
So they still play him up front. I think they've got quite an aging team, and they've got a few really talented youngsters. I mean, Musiala's brilliant. Wirtz is quite talented. But apart from that... and
Kai Havertz is playing at the left back and scoring.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Neuer, if he can get back to his best, they've always got Neuer. But I mean,
they have Ter Stegen.
They've got home advantage, of course. That's always going to be massive. So you can never rule out the Germans. Never write off the Germans.
The Germans.
Yeah, never write off the Germans. But I think I don't like Germany. Holland, I don't like. Who else have we? Who else? Who are the other big nations? Belgium are horrible. I don't think. I think aside from France and England, I think Italy can fight it out with anyone. I think Portugal would be difficult, but then I don't like their manager, Roberto Martinez. They don't have a good manager. What Italy have, we have a world-class manager. And in international football, even the top nations don't have world-class managers. And I include in that Didier Deschamps. As crazy as it might sound, winning a World Cup and getting to 2 World Cup finals, I don't think he's a top manager at all.
I think he's a good manager, but he's not a world-class manager. No. I agree with that.
And then England, who have have a fantastic squad, fantastic team, amazing attacking talent. They've got Gareth Southgate as their manager.
Yeah, but you don't always need. I think we've learnt from the Euros.
You don't always need, but I'm saying this is the weapon that this is what we have over the other teams is our manager. We have maybe the best manager at the tournament, probably the best manager at the tournament, the most proven manager at the tournament. Who else is there? I mean, Nagelsmann, but he's still a little bit unproven.
He's very young.
Yeah, and he hasn't started well either. He lost to Turkey on his debut. At home. So I think we've got the best manager at the tournament. So that can be our weapon. That can be Spalletti can make us greater than the sum of our parts. We've already seen some of his.
Well, we have to give a shout out to Patrick Kendrick. Tweeted this. I didn't think about this until he tweeted it. But Italy have 4 coaches at the Euro 2024.
5 even. You could even say 5 if you include Tedesco, who was born in Italy.
But he was. I mean, I'm talking from a Coverciano point of view.
Yeah, but I mean, Tedesco was born in Italy and he's Italian. He's got Italian blood.
But he was developed in.
He was developed in another country. Yeah, but I mean, Germany. It still shows. I mean,
but look, it's Rossi, Montella, Calzona, and Spalletti. I mean, that is, again, just goes to show that when it comes to tacticians and coaches, Italy, there's no one close to Italian coaches.
Absolutely. We'll definitely win the Euros for the best coaches.
They're the best coaches.
Sure.
I mean, there's no doubt about that. Calzona at Slovakia, Vincenzo Montella in Turkey, Rossi at Hungary.
For sure. It's very, very impressive. It's very, very impressive. It's one thing about Italian football, we can criticise everything else, but we always produce the best coaches, and I'm sure we always will. But yeah, talking about Italy as a whole, I think France and England are on another level to everyone. Italy can fight it out with everyone else. We have a lot of holes in the team. We have to be honest. We're weak at centre back. We have no depth at all at centre back. We're relying on Acerbi hopefully continuing this level into his 30. He's going to be 36 by the tournament. We're praying on Acerbi, and you age quickly at that age. You can suddenly go from one day to the other to the next. You can be finished at that age. Look what happened to Bonucci, Chiellini after the last Euros. They were world class at those Euros. Within a few months, they were finished.
Crashed.
We have to pray Acerbi stays well. But we're not defending like we could at the past. Our midfield, having lost Tonali, Verratti going to Qatar, our midfield is not the same. And in attack, as we've said for many years, we lack quality in attack. We don't have the same quality. Just compare our attacks to France and England. I mean, if we had their attacks, we'd probably win the Euros. So that's the difference.
But seriously, like it really feels like it's the preliminaries until France and England meet. It really feels like it. I just
thing is, you never know. I mean, listen,
of course, international
it's a tournament. In a tournament, anything can happen. You can get hot,
and it's the beauty of international football as well. It's the unpredictability.
Yeah, we hit form. We got to pray that we keep our players fit. No more injuries.
Look at Denmark. Look at Greece.
We are like one or two more injuries away from total disaster. I would say that because our depth is so. But then let's say England lose Harry Kane. I mean. They don't have another striker. They lose so much. So England lose Harry Kane, or even if they lost Bellingham, or they lose a couple of players. Everything can suddenly change. France might have another 2010 where they all start arguing. You just don't know.
They could have another 2010.
Yeah,
they start arguing.
Yeah, Mbappe takes over the team. From Deschamps,
which he kind of already has. But I mean, no, I'm with you. I think that's fair. But
anything can happen. We get a good draw. We get a good draw. We keep our players fit. Spalletti molds the team. We play collectively as a team. We're in Germany. Germany is a good place for us. We won the World Cup there. It's just over the border. We're close. We'll feel at home. It's who knows? I'm just happy.
I don't think Italy.
I'm happy that we're there again. I'm happy that we can enjoy the tournament.
I want from Spalletti. For me, Spalletti's target isn't the Euros. For me, Spalletti's target is the World Cup. I want him to bring it. For me, that's when I want Italy to deliver in 2.5 years' time. I want. That's when I want Italy to be at their best in the World Cup, because it's been too long. Italy are reigning champions. I don't really care about the Euros, having seen them won it in 2021. This is, for me, just warm up for the World Cup. I want Italy to mount a serious World Cup challenge at the World Cup, at the next World Cup. That's what I want. So for me, everything until then is building up until that moment.
Fair enough. There's always the chance also that we could get a breakout star during the season that can suddenly explode. I mean, it's unlikely looking at the options, but you never know. It does happen. Who knows? Imagine Colombo suddenly explodes and scores 20 goals between now and the end of the season. Someone like that, that comes out, then maybe it could give us a chance. It's unlikely, but there's always that possibility as well. That gives us more hope. Yeah. But anyway, like I said, I'm glad to be there. I'm going to enjoy the build up now. That was the most horrible thing about the World Cup, wasn't it? Like those waiting 7-8 months, the whole build up, and you're not there, and it's just horrible. You just want it to be over, basically.
I'm looking at the pots now, and Germany, Portugal, France, Spain, Belgium, England. They're in pot one. And then Hungary, Denmark, Albania, Australia confirmed pot 2.
Austria,
Not Australia. Turkey, Romania, Switzerland. Turkey either pot 2 or 3. Romania, Switzerland pot 2 or 4. Scotland, Slovenia, Slovakia, Czech Republic, Netherlands in pot 3 confirmed. And Italy either 3 or 4, but 97% chance pot 4. And then Serbia in pot 4. And then you have playoff winner A, B, or C in pot 4. There's no group of death here, unless even if Netherlands, say it's France, Netherlands, Italy, and Denmark.
Yeah.
Like that, I'm sorry, but
yeah, no, I agree.
With all due respect, Italy should go through.
Yeah.
So if they don't, it's a failure. Let's be honest about it. But I mean, no, I think I'm not too worried about it because I think the Euros. No, look, it is like you said. It's France, England 5-star, then Portugal 4, then I have Germany at 3.5, and the rest at 3. So, it's going to be an interesting Euros. But for Italy's perspective, I have a quarterfinal. That's what I think we can ask of this Italy. A quarterfinal. That would be respectable. Well, that's what I demand. Anything above that, huge bonus.
Yeah, I agree. We should be good enough to get to the quarterfinals, assuming we get a decent draw. We don't meet like a France or England in the last 16, and then from the quarterfinals, I guess it depends on the draw and what happens. What happens next?
The reason I don't want Italy to win this tournament is because I don't want them to do everything they did wrong the last time around they won it, and go into this. They start acting like the senators of the Roman Empire that brought glory to the empire and start like and forget to do the hard work.
Listen, they're going to do that. They're going to do that. They're going to do that, win or lose, Nima. I mean, let's be honest. We've not qualified for 2 World Cups in a row. We still haven't changed anything.
That's the thing. They're not going to do that. If they don't win it, they'll go hungry into the World Cup. I do not want them standing there like last time when Bonucci was taking laps of honor before the game. And it's just
Listen, I'll take a win all day long because I know this is Italy. We don't change. We're not going to change anything anyway. So I mean, I'd rather take the win.
I love the defeatist attitude.
Okay, let's leave it at that. I hope you enjoyed that. It's nice to have something to look forward to again, isn't it, for Italy? Yeah. Italy national team fans. We will, like I said, the draw is next Saturday, so we definitely will do a reaction to that on the Monday pod.
Yeah,
and maybe we might even do a preview if we get time. We'll do a preview next Thursday as well. But is it Champions League next week?
It is.
Yeah, so we will have a lot to talk about. But if we can fit it in, we'll do a little preview of the draw as well next Thursday. Okay, right. We'll be back on this Thursday.
Well, before we go, I mean, we're doing a Q&A this Thursday, aren't we? So we're not going to do a preview, but or on Thursday. But I do want to. I mean, there's some juicy games coming up this weekend in the Serie A. You got Atalanta,
one in particular.
Milan, Fiorentina, Juventus, Inter. There's quite a few juicy games, and the Derby d'Italia on Sunday night. So, and of course,
we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Derby d'Italia on the Q&A. We'll find space for it on that. We'll preview it on Thursday's show for sure. But it is going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. 2 points separate the two teams, top of the table clash. Both teams have a lot of injuries as well.
This is what I was going to say. What is the state of Locatelli's injury?
Who knows? Because
Juventus are Juventusing this. Like it's just
he's feeling pain. Apparently, he hasn't been able to train. So I mean, I don't know. It's one of those that he played through the pain in the last game. So it's one of those kind of chronic ones, which is always difficult to tell, isn't it? With those ones, who knows? There's other injuries as well for both teams.
Before we go though, we have to do Baggio and Premface of the week because I saw yesterday Baggio and a Premface that I think is one of the biggest Premfaces in history. Like,
go on then, tell us all.
Well, let's do the Baggio and Premface swoosh. So this is truly. When I saw this, this was sent to us by one of our patrons on a DM on Patreon, and I just couldn't. I thought he was having me on, and it's just I don't know what to say. It's truly one of the most. I mean, the game had barely ended when this when I received this message. It comes from our patron. I'm just bringing up the chat here, but yeah, Reese McQuigg sent this to us, and it is.
This is
I mean,
brilliant.
the Daily Mail have outdone themselves this time. Listen to this headline. This is the headline. Italy reach Euro 2024 in controversial circumstances as Ukraine are denied a late penalty. ... Just days after UEFA chief said it would be a disaster, in quotes, if holders didn't qualify. Like, how is that an art news article? I mean, just the way it's, and then it just go haranguing about, the penalty situation and blah blah blah, and then we go into the really Italy defender Brian Cristante looked as though he swiped at the winger's legs and brought him down inside the penalty area, though the referee waved play on. Ukraine players and staff vented their frustrations and astonishment at the decision, but it fell on deaf ears as the officials suggested there was no further doing. The incident comes just days after UEFA president Alexander Ceferin said it would be a, quote, disaster if Italy failed to qualify for Euro 2024, which was lamented by Ukraine head coach Sergei Rebrov. I don't even know.
Not surprised at all.
Okay. The fact that Ceferin said something incredibly inappropriate, I don't think anyone thinks that was an intelligent thing by him to say. I think it was stupid. But then it's par for the course with Alexander Ceferin. In Sweden, we say when someone says something stupid, we say a frog jumps out of their mouth. Alexander Ceferin has a farm of frogs and is living in his mouth. So there's nothing new there. But this insinuation stuff, I mean, if this is the kind of stuff that if you were to say at them, they'd call you a conspiracy theorist, they'd call you everything.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But this is madness. They're literally insinuating that Italy rigged the game. Or that, UEFA rigged the game on behalf of Italy. That's what they're insinuating.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I couldn't believe that. It was truly, truly remarkable.
I can believe it because this is just what we expect from the
Daily
Mail and the.
My head exploded when I saw that. I was like,
the thing is that a lot of the people that have been up in uproar, like they didn't even watch the game at all. They just see a little highlights. I mean, I've seen all like on social media, and I've seen in the media like Chelsea fans as well. Like they're going ballistic about Mudryk, and the referee has robbed Mudryk of.
They're Chelsea fans. They have literally nothing to be happy about other than that.
Mudryk has been robbed by the referee of dragging his nation to the
dragging. I love the drama.
And they're talking about how amazing he was because there was a couple of somebody put together like a 30-second highlights compilation of Mudryk going on a few dribbles last night, and they seem to the consensus around just Google is not Google, just go onto Twitter and have a look, search Mudryk and see what everybody's saying about him, and apparently he was man of the match, and he was absolutely
not man of the match.
He was awful. He was absolutely dreadful. People didn't even watch the game. He completed one of his 5 dribbles. He won one of his 9 duels. He lost possession 20 times. He miscontrolled. He let a ball run underneath his studs in the first half when he would have just had.
And he made the worst dive since Jurgen Klinsmann in the 1990 World Cup final. You know which one I mean? When that's how I do know. Yeah, I do know what you mean. And he does that ridiculous thing with his legs, and he's holding his head, and it's the most theatrical, embarrassing thing ever on a football pitch. And he manages to somehow not beat Klinsmann, because that is. No one will ever beat him. Neymar and Klinsmann are just, no one will ever come close to them. I don't know what you have to do to come close to them in terms of diving and ridiculousness and exaggerating an impact. But he came to the vicinity of those two doing that.
But this is what I mean. This is what the Daily Mail and like these mainstream media in Britain are like. They don't even watch the games. Then they write features and articles. I know because I've seen them do it.
Yeah, it's agenda pushing.
They write a feature and an article on a game, and they've not even watched the game. They think,
they've decided what can we do
on the game, and they pick out like a narrative.
The narrative's decided beforehand, and then they adapt the facts to the narrative, which is the very definition of what isn't journalism. It's just Look, it's truly, it's just unbelievable.
Anyway, we need to wrap this up. Baggio of the week, though, of course, we'll go with Italy. We'll go with Spalletti in Italy for taking us to the Euros and giving us some joy again.
Yeah.
Right, okay. As I said, back on Thursday, we'll do the Q&A and we'll also preview the Derby d'Italia. Until then, have a good week. Ciao, ciao.